said, the horrific results of the use of chemical weapons. We have seen it with our own eyes, and the evidence that chemical weapons were used is undeniable. And the proof comes from sources well beyond the U.S. government, open sources, international organizations, witnesses on the ground. This violation has to be taken very seriously. And the President is consulting with his national security team. The international community is, the intelligence community is further assessing and evaluating what happened, and we will be able to share with you an assessment of the IC in the coming days about the use of chemical weapons on August 21st. And the President will continue to consult and review his options in terms of responding to it. Now, we have a clear policy with regards to the conflict within Syria as well, and we have obviously provided substantial assistance to the opposition, and we will continue to do that. But it is important to make a distinction here when it comes to this violation of an international norm. It's not just an incident that pertains only to Syria or to the region. It is a violation that pertains to the whole world.
The President himself has spoken about the difficulties of a response to something like this, but what would be considered a proportional response?
Well, I'm not going to speculate about potential responses. I'm going to make clear, as Secretary Kerry did, that the fact that chemical weapons were used on a widespread basis against innocent civilians with tragic results is undeniable. And there is very little doubt in our minds that the Syrian regime is culpable. We are continuing to review potential responses, to consult with our allies and partners, and with Congress as we make that review. But I'm not going to, engage in hypotheticals about potential responses or what might occur after any response or any decision is made about a response.
Would the President act without congressional or UN authorization, and would he lay out the evidence personally? You said that you come out with what the IC ultimately determined. Will the President himself make that case to the American people?
Well, I think you have heard the President speak on this issue in the past, and I think you can expect to hear him speak on it again as he evaluates the potential options and responses, and as he makes a decision about a potential response. But he has not made that decision, and when he does, I'm sure you will hear from him. When it comes to Congress, we're consulting with Congress, and we'll continue to do that. And when it comes to the international community, the President, as you know, as we read out, has had conversations with key allies, leaders of allied nations, and will continue to have conversations with other foreign leaders. And we'll make information available about those conversations as they occur.
Are you distinguishing the international community and international allies from the UN specifically?
Again, I'm not going to, you're getting into a hypothetical about a decision that hasn't been made. So I'll refrain from doing that, except to make clear that the President is consulting with the international community as well as Secretary Kerry broadly with his counterparts around the world. And that will continue.
Anything on timing?
I'm not going to speculate about a time frame. The President, as Secretary Kerry made clear, at the President's direction, considers what happened in Syria and the use of chemical weapons on this scale to be a horrific violation of an international norm. It's an extremely serious matter. And he is evaluating the appropriate response. But I'm not going to speculate about the timing of a response or a decision. Jeff.
Jay, Secretary Kerry referred to additional information that the United States has about the attack. Can you tell us what that is or what he meant?
What I can tell you, as I mentioned, is that the intelligence community is making assessments, and when it has a formal assessment, we will be able to share conclusions with you in the coming days. That's what the Secretary is referring to.
What would the legal basis be for a military strike?
I'm not going to speculate about a decision that hasn't been made.
Does the fact that Americans, polls show, are reluctant to get involved in another war factor into the president's thinking and decision about how to respond?
The President makes decisions about military action or potential military action with the national security interests of the United States in mind. There is no weightier decision for the President, and he has made that clear on numerous occasions. And he makes decisions of that nature based on what he views as the long-term interests of the United States. Again, as Secretary Kerry made clear, and as I just repeated, this is a matter that is distinct from, although part of, the conflict in Syria. This is a violation of a long-held international norm that bans the use of chemical weapons on a widespread scale with horrific, morally obscene, as Secretary Kerry said,